Hello there, everyone. If you're watching this video, then you are part of the TTOR army, an army that is building itself up one subscriber at a time. As you can see from the title and thumbnail of today's video, today we're going to be talking about Nick Fuentes again. And I've done a couple of videos about Nick Fuentes so far in 2022. The first video of which was this video, which you see right here on screen, titled Nick Fuentes Doxes Joe Prich Assassinates Joe's Character because Joe challenged him to a debate. And no, guys, that is not a clickbait headline. Nick Fuentes really did claim to dox Joe Prich, and he really did assassinate Joe Prich's character because Joe Prich challenged him to a debate about the legitimacy of his America First organization. And Nick Fuentes responded by saying, well, I don't have time to debate you, but then he had time to allegedly dox Joe Prich, and he had time to character assassinate Joe Prich on his live stream. So yeah, that's a real thing, and you can check out the full details in the description box below. And then more recently, about a week ago, I put out a video titled Nick Fuentes Comes Out of the Closet as a Censorship-Loving Authoritarian. Now this video, much shorter video, is about a clip on a live stream Nick Fuentes recently did where he admitted that he false flags the social media accounts of anyone who criticizes him, and he claimed that this was a fair tactic. So, Nick Fuentes is every bit the censorship-loving authoritarian as the far leftists are. He's no different than they are. He just claims to be one of us. So, we already know this about Nick Fuentes, but today we're going to be looking at something new. An article that recently came out in the Kansas City Star about Jayden McNeil, the former treasurer for America First. And in this article, Jayden McNeil basically comes out and exposes Nick Fuentes even further for being the lying grifter and censorship-loving authoritarian that he is. And furthermore, we learn that Jayden McNeil, according to Nick Fuentes himself, was fired from America First because Jayden McNeil got a girlfriend. I kid you not. But we're going to provide receipts for all of this now. So the article from the Kansas City Star in question is titled, Former Kansas State Student Steps Down from White Nationalist Organization Amid Rift. This article came out on May 12th, so it's fairly recent, 4 days ago. A former Kansas State student who left the university and became the right-hand guy for the head of a white nationalist organization has stepped down as the treasurer of its foundation as its leader remains under federal investigation in connection with the Capitol insurrection. Jayden McNeil, whose offensive tweets in 2020 about the murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer propelled the school into the national spotlight, announced his move on the online messaging app Telegram. He said he would no longer be an officer of the America First organization, the nonprofit arm of far-right live streamer Nick Fuentes' America First organization. So, we're going to skip the next few paragraphs because they have nothing to do with McNeil, and this is where we'll pick things up. McNeil stunned many America First supporters by going on a YouTube live stream show for nearly 4 hours Friday to talk about why he was leaving. He said he was on the America First Foundation board with conservative commenter Michelle Malkin, a vocal supporter of the group whom members often call Mommy. McNeil said he was the foundation treasurer for the most part in name only and knew little about its finances. It was basically just Nick handling everything, him and his assistant, McNeil said. I was basically hands off. I just wanted to put it out there publicly like I have nothing to do with this because I don't know what the expletive deleted is going on behind the scenes there. Nick didn't tell me a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes while using my name. So, right off the bat, we see Jayden McNeil admit that even though he was officially the treasurer of America First, he actually did basically no handling whatsoever of any of their finances. Nick and his personal assistant handled basically all the finances, and McNeil was just there in name only as the treasurer. He didn't actually have much to do with any of their financial managements. Really, really interesting revelation indeed. During the rambling conversation laden with profanity and anti-gay slurs, McNeil said the government had released $500,000 that had frozen in Fuentes' bank account, but that Fuentes hadn't told donors and was still using the issue to raise money. Whoa, hold the phone. That's quite the bombshell. Because one of the things Nick Fuentes always uses as part of his marketing gimmick is that, well, the government, seized all of my assets and all of my finances and they're holding it all. And he basically is using this issue to raise money from donors so that he can basically fight to get his money back. And according to Jayden McNeil, the government actually did release $500,000 that had been frozen, but that Fuentes was omitting this fact from his audience and basically using the issue to grift off of them, even though he technically got back a lot of the money that they took from him. So yeah, it's just pretty conclusive proof that Nick Fuentes is a lying grifter. But let's read the next little bit. McNeil also said he was the person who made the contact to get Representative Paul Gosar of Arizona to speak at last year's America First Political Action Conference, an appearance that drew criticism from many congressional colleagues. McNeil said Gosar didn't return to speak at this year's conference in February, he sent a short video clip, because he realized that Fuentes was a total F-up. And a former America First employee who appeared on the livestream with McNeil said that Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, who was the surprise keynote speaker at the 2022 conference, only came because she didn't know where in the hell she was. Greene responded to criticism about her appearance at the conference in a February 26 tweet. I am not going to play the guilt by association game in which you demand every conservative should justify anything ever said by anyone they've ever shared a room with. The drama has created a schism in the America First organization, with Fuentes' loyalists, also known as Grifters, calling McNeil a traitor, and McNeil's supporters saying Fuentes has become a control freak who is burning the political bridges he created. And Nick Fuentes is most certainly doing that. I mean, Paul Gosar comes to speak at your conference in 2021, and then he doesn't want to return the next year because he realizes, what the heck? What kind of freak are you? But in case you thought any of these revelations so far were bombshell, check out what Nick Fuentes had to say next. Fuentes responded on his America First livestream Tuesday night saying he had fired McNeil and the former employee who was on Friday's show with McNeil. Fuentes said he and McNeil had been best friends, but the relationship fell apart when McNeil got a girlfriend and then had no time for him or anyone else, including, Fuentes said, a donor who recently gave McNeil $100,000. After that stream, I was personally destroyed, Fuentes said of McNeil's comments Friday. I was just gutted. He said McNeil allowed himself to be used by those who invited him on the show. Wow. Isn't that interesting? So, Jayden McNeil said on Telegram that he resigned from America First. And Fuentes responds by saying he didn't resign, I fired him. And why did Nick Fuentes fire him? Because Jayden McNeil got a girlfriend and was spending more time with his girlfriend than with Nick, and so Nick decided to give him the axe. Yeah, true. Totally true. And if you watch other people's live streams like Red Pill Gang TV, he actually shows posts by Fuentes on his Telegram channel where Fuentes admits that, yeah, this is all true. So Nick Fuentes literally fired his best friend from America First, according to Nick Fuentes, because McNeil dared to get a girlfriend and spend more time with her than him outside of work. Wow. I thought, Nick Fuentes was a good Catholic, so a good Catholic would obviously understand that if you're in a dating relationship with someone, you're gonna spend more time with the person you're dating than you previously were spending with the person you're best friends with. So you might not stop seeing your best friend altogether, but you're definitely not going to spend as much time with your best friend as you did before when you're in a dating relationship with a girl. So obviously the fact that Nick Fuentes fired Jayden McNeil from America First because he got a girlfriend and spent less time hanging out with Nick, according to Nick Fuentes' own words. Well, that's really strange. Really weird. Seems like the kind of thing someone who indulges in homosexuality would engage in. I mean, think about it. If a homosexual guy was in a dating relationship with another guy, or he was friends with another guy who he had a strong interest in, whether that interest was known or not by the other person, and then that other person that he's interested in starts dating a girl, isn't it common for a lot of homo guys at that point to get angry about that? And be angry about the fact that the guy they're interested in is spending less time with them than with the girl that they're now dating? The way Nick Fuentes responded to Jayden McNeil getting a girlfriend and spending more time with his girlfriend than with Nick, that seems like the kind of thing a homo would do. Let's pick up the article, though, at this point. Fuentes said on his show Tuesday night that he is cooperating with the House Select Committee. He participated in a deposition, he said, and is working on the committee's document request. The last thing I have heard from the Department of Justice is that my assets and me remain a target of the DOJ and of the FBI, he said. And I think if anybody were to scrutinize the claims that have been made legally or otherwise, I think that very quickly the people that are accusing me would reveal that they really have no understanding of what transpired last January when my money was frozen, or anything that has gone on since then. He said he's had to spend $150,000 in legal fees since the investigation began, but he denied misusing any funds from the America First Foundation. The AFF is rapidly becoming a $1 million organization, he said. I have never taken 1 cent from the foundation. Oh, yes, because Nick Fuentes said so. It must be true. Oh, I would never take a cent from my own foundation. Well, you literally fired your best friend from your America First organization because your best friend got a girlfriend and was spending more time with her than you. So if you're willing to fire your best friend from your organization over something so petty, I think you taking money from your own foundation is not beyond the pale. It's not something that you would be unwilling to do. So you'll have to forgive us if we don't believe a word you say about not taking a cent from your own foundation. It's just hard to believe that you wouldn't do that in light of the way you fired your best friend from your organization and your explanation of why you did it. But let's continue reading. Throughout Fuentes' nearly 5-hour show on Tuesday, supporters posted a constant stream of comments, the majority of them bashing McNeil, and many sent donations. At one point, the program had more than 10,000 viewers. Deaf to traitors, one follower said. I do solemnly swear to destroy Nick Fuentes' enemies, said another. McNeil said on Friday's live stream that he wasn't planning to go public about why he left, but changed his mind because Fuentes had been attacking him. He's threatened me, he's doxing my biggest donor, he's threatening to dox other people through his little proxy of minions, he said. So, as we can see from that little section, McNeil, Jayden, wasn't even planning on going public about why he left America First, but that because Nick Fuentes couldn't leave him alone and was attacking him and doxing his biggest donor, and that he was threatening to dox other people through his little army of minions, McNeil changed his mind and decided to go public about why he left America First. And to wrap things up, we're going to read these 2 paragraphs from the conclusion section of the article. Most recently, McNeil had been live streaming on Cozy TV, a platform that Fuentes created after the Capitol riot, but McNeil said in a Telegram post at 1:23 a.m. Saturday that he had been kicked off the site. LOL, they signed me out of Cozy and changed my account credentials, he said. So, as one final insult to Jayden McNeil, not only did Nick Fuentes fire Jayden McNeil from his position as the treasurer of the America First organization because McNeil got a girlfriend and was spending less time with Nick Fuentes than his girlfriend. Well, not only did Nick Fuentes fire him from the America First organization over that, but he furthermore banned him from Cozy TV by changing his account credentials so that he couldn't sign into his Cozy TV account. So, yep, further evidence that Nick Fuentes is a censorship-loving authoritarian. He's also a lying grifter, and, well, he literally fired his best friend from the America First organization simply for committing the crime of 1, getting a girlfriend, and 2, spending more time with the girlfriend than with Nick. That's what this is all about. So, as we can see from going through this article, and if you look at my previous 2 videos about Nick Fuentes that I showed you at the beginning, we can see that Nick Fuentes is not the kind of person that we should be supporting or endorsing in any way. He's a censorship-loving authoritarian and a lying grifter, just like Gab CEO Andrew Torba, which makes it obvious now why Andrew Torba was so willing to endorse Nick Fuentes to the point where he gave Nick Fuentes over $20,000 in donations from Gab supporters in order to fund America First and the political action conference they did this year. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw and you want to help me go from being a part-time to a full-time content creator, then I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button, check out my other videos, and leave your likes and comments down below. And it doesn't matter whether you're seeing me on YouTube, or Joshu TV, or YouTube, or NewTube, or BitChute, the concept applies to them all equally. And if you'd like to follow me on my various social media accounts, I would encourage you to check out my Tap My Bio profile, where I have links to all of the social media sites that I have accounts on. If you'd like to help me preserve freedom of speech on the internet, there are 2 ways you can do this. You can join and use my website Creation Social, which is an open source alt-tech alternative to Facebook and Gab. Lots of great conversations happen here. You have true freedom of speech with very minimal drama, which I think is the best of both worlds. And if you like using Facebook at all, then you should definitely use Creation Social. If you want to help me create a video sharing site of my own, I would encourage you to donate to the Quarter Project. Quarter is an open source alt-tech alternative to YouTube that I am currently working on raising funds for. It's going to be a site that is very feature-rich and functional, and it will have pretty much all the features you'd ever want in a video sharing site, and all of the freedom of speech that you would want as well. So you can contribute to the Quarter Project either through my GiveSendGo campaign, which you can see here on screen, or you can donate to the Quarter account on Flattr, where you can do one-time or monthly tips. And everything you do as far as Flattr donations go or GiveSendGo campaign goes will go towards the Quarter Project. And if you'd like to help fund TTOR or the Creation Social and or Quarter projects, then you can purchase products from my Teespring store, where we have TTOR merch, we have Creation Social merch, and we have Quarter merch. And you'll find the link to that in the description box below as well. You can also help fund me by buying and reading my books. There's another Inconvenient Truth, What Secular America Hates, and there's another Inconvenient Truth too, Defending Young Earth Creationism. You can find access to these books on the TTOR website. Thank you for watching, and have an excellent day.